In this video, we'll talk about general language and specific language and how to use both. You've probably been told to be more specific in your writing, right? Most people have. That kind of instruction can be a little confusing. I mean, what does it mean to be more specific? So let's define these terms. General language refers to a whole group of things. Specific language, on the other hand, isolates a particular thing and clearly defines it or identifies it. Rather than being opposites, though, general and specific language are kind of like on two ends of a spectrum. Let's look at an example. If I say to you, "Hey, hand me that thing," you would probably be really confused. You might look all around you and then say, "What thing? Your paper, your coffee mug, your sweatshirt?" Thing is a very general term. It applies to literally any object. If I say to you, though, "Hand me my phone," I have gone from a very general thing to a much more specific term. But I can be more specific. There are lots of types of phones. If I say, "Hand me my pink iPhone," I'm even more specific. I might go on to say the brand or the model number of the phone. I might describe it as cracked or scuffed if it is. The more specific I get, the easier it is for you to identify what phone I'm talking about. Being specific is important, especially when you're talking about something you need the reader to understand and to visualize. Remember, the only information the reader has are the words that you give her. Let's do one more example. If I say, "Everyone was there," that is a very general statement. Where and who was actually there? You might be asking me, "Everyone who? Do you mean literally everyone in the whole world?" Probably not. I could be more specific about what group of people I mean if I say students. I could be more specific if I say GGC students, or even more specific if I identify them as GGC business majors. How could you make there more specific? Think about that. You could identify the place. The more specific you are, the easier it is for your reader to understand exactly who or what you are talking about. Don't worry too much about being too specific. Most people are way too general in their writing. Also remember that going from a very general word like good to a word like amazing isn't getting more specific. Amazing is still a really general term that could apply to a lot of things and doesn't tell us very much. So if I ask you how your pasta dinner was, try to be more specific. Maybe try describing your pasta as delicious or creamy or spicy. These words are more specific than the general term good. And it's fine to be a little general in a first or second draft. You can always revise your writing to make it more specific in later drafts. In order to be more specific, ask yourself, is there a more specific term than the one I'm using to describe this person or thing? Try to avoid really general terms like thing or good or different. There's almost always a more specific term you can use to describe what you mean. Try using more specific words in your writing for college, your job, and even when you're trying to communicate with friends and family. I bet you'll see your meaning becomes clearer.